All right, let's talk about something that's a total game changer for any leader. It's all about setting crystal clear expectations for your team. Now, I know it sounds simple, right? But getting this right can completely transform your culture. It can take you from a place of confusion and frustration to a place of real clarity and trust. So today, we're going to break down exactly how to build that standard.
But before we get to the solution, let's talk about the problem. I want you to think about a time you felt really frustrated at work. Maybe you felt like a coworker got away with something, or you got called out for a rule you didn't even know was a rule. What do you think is the number one absolute biggest source of that kind of friction on a team?
Yep, that's it right there. Unspoken rules. It's all the stuff that everyone is just supposed to know. The assumptions we all make about how to act, how to communicate, what good even looks like. When these rules aren't written down, it creates this minefield of anxiety where people are getting in trouble for breaking rules they were never even taught.
So, if unspoken rules are the poison, what's the antidote? It's actually pretty simple. You make everything explicit. You've got to take what's in your head as the leader, or what all the senior people on the team just know, and get it down on paper for everyone to see. This is the absolute foundation for building a fair and high-performing team.
And look at this contrast. It is just night and day. On the left side, without that clear standard, any kind of feedback feels personal, right? It feels like an attack. But over on the right, when everyone knows the rules of the game, coaching is just about upholding a standard you've all agreed to. Suddenly, it's not personal anymore. It's about the work. And that little shift, it builds a massive amount of trust and makes even tough conversations, like parting ways, feel like a professional process instead of some personal failure.
So how do we actually build this thing? Well, the first step might not be what you think. It's not about listing all the things people do wrong. It's about defining what's right. We need to be proactive and spell out the exact behaviors we want to see from every single person on the team.
And the framework for this is so simple, but so powerful. You frame every single one of your positive expectations with this phrase, "We expect you to." This isn't just a suggestion, right? It's the standard. It's collective, it's clear, and it sets the bar for what it truly means to be part of the team.
So what does this actually sound like in the real world? Well, imagine saying, "We expect you to own your mistakes and learn from them." That one sentence, it creates so much psychological safety. It tells people that it's okay to fail as long as you grow from it. Or how about this one? "We expect you to communicate proactively if you're stuck." Bam! You just turned a potential crisis into a simple, normal request for help. The clarity here is absolutely transformative.
But, defining all the good stuff is really only half the story. If you truly want to protect your culture, you have to be just as clear about the behaviors that are completely off the table. You got to draw some really firm lines in the sand.
And the language here has to be just as direct and just as strong. We don't tolerate. This isn't, "We'd prefer if you didn't," or "try not to." No, this is a non-negotiable boundary. This phrasing just removes all the ambiguity and signals to everyone that these behaviors are a direct threat to the health of the team.
And take a look at these examples. When you explicitly state, "We don't tolerate gossip," you shut down one of the fastest killers of team morale. Because you're saying we solve problems directly and respectfully here. And drawing that hard line against dishonesty? Well, you're protecting your most valuable assets, the trust you have inside your team and the reputation you have with the outside world. See, these aren't just rules, they're shields for your culture. Okay, so we've got the internal stuff down, but this standard, it doesn't just stop at the office door, right? Every single person on your team is an ambassador for your company, and it's so important to define what that responsibility looks like out in the real world.
And this really comes down to two key things. First, how do you represent the brand? This covers everything from what you post on social media to how you talk to clients at an event. It's all about ensuring a consistent professional image. And second, what information do we need to protect? Clearly defining what's confidential is absolutely essential for security. And let's be honest, for keeping your competitive edge.
All right, so you've done the work. You've defined the do's, you've drawn the don'ts, you've clarified how to represent the company, you've written it all down. But how do you know when you've actually succeeded? What's the real test for your new standard?
This right here, this is your litmus test. This is what done looks like. You have achieved true clarity when a brand new hire on their very first day can read your standard and know precisely what it takes to crush it on your team. No guessing games, no trying to read the room. The path to success is laid out in black and white. That's the goal.
And that leaves us with one last thing to think about.
Whether you write it down or not, a standard is being set on your team every single day. It's set by the actions you tolerate and the behaviors you reward. So the only real question is, are you being intentional about it? Are you the one holding the pen?